The illusion of ROI, how coaching and learning and development manufacture success. From the International Coaching Federation's $577,000 case study to post-program sugar hits, the coaching industry keeps proving itself with stories instead of evidence. Meta description. The International Coaching Federation cites AEON Vietnam as proof that coaching culture delivers financial return on investment. Yet beneath the surface lies a pattern of self-reporting, subjective surveys, and unverified claims. This investigation exposes how the coaching industry manufactures success through narrative rather than data. The self-referential ecosystem. The International Coaching Federation, ICF, positions itself as the global authority on professional coaching, promoting ethical practice and evidence-based impact. Yet the case study it uses to demonstrate measurable return on investment exposes how the industry creates its own proof. The International Coaching Federation's official story of AEON Vietnam claims $577,000 return on investment, 200% cost reduction, 86 successful projects. These results, they say, were achieved through a coaching culture built on the idea that leaders create leaders. The problem is not the numbers themselves, but how they are produced and presented. AEON Vietnam's results are self-reported. The data originates from internal surveys and subjective success definitions, later summarized by the International Coaching Federation and republished as evidence. The organization that accredits and promotes coaching uses its own affiliates' marketing as validation of its methodology. It is not independent evaluation. It is circular confirmation, where marketing becomes proof. The tick-box survey model. Most coaching and learning and development programs rely on self-reporting to demonstrate success. The high-performance team and happiness workforce surveys are typical examples. Employees are asked how empowered, collaborative, or happy they feel after the program. These are opinion metrics, not performance data. They measure perception, not productivity. Participants often respond positively because they know the initiative is backed by senior management. Without validated instruments or control groups, the results cannot be verified. Yet such surveys remain the preferred evidence base because they are easy to conduct and always produce flattering results. The numbers look empirical, but they are little more than a formalized pat on the back. The manager's escape hatch. How coaching became the ultimate accountability shield. When a senior leader or manager invests in coaching or in Land-D program, it is almost always framed as an investment in people and culture. These are safe, abstract categories that make results impossible to measure and failure easy to deflect. If outcomes appear positive, the program is celebrated as proof of visionary leadership. If nothing changes, it becomes a long-term cultural initiative that just needs more time. Either way, the decision-maker wins. Coaching becomes a managerial insurance policy against criticism. Safe money and virtue signaling. Large-scale coaching or leadership programs often cost thousands of dollars per participant, yet they rarely face the same scrutiny as other corporate expenditures. Development budgets are treated as symbolic commitments to growth and care. The spending itself becomes evidence of good leadership. Managers can say, "We are investing in our people," without having to prove that those people perform any better. The act of buying the program creates its own moral validation. The illusion of evaluation. After the coaching finishes, participants are often asked to complete feedback questionnaires or surveys. These typically ask how the program made them feel, what they learned, or how confident they now feel as leaders. It is self-reporting in its purest form. Such surveys measure perception, not performance. They capture how people felt about being coached, not whether coaching created lasting behavioral change. The immediate optimism that follows a program often fades quickly, yet those initial results are still reported as evidence of transformation. There is no standard mechanism for independent evaluation of outcomes. The self-reporting becomes the proof. The sugar hit of perceived growth is packaged into internal success stories and then used to justify the next budget cycle. Why no one finds fault? Few managers are willing to admit that an expensive program achieved little. Doing so would call their judgment into question and risk professional embarrassment. It is easier to declare success than to acknowledge uncertainty. This creates a culture where coaching is never allowed to fail. When measurable change is absent, the explanation becomes that culture takes time or mindsets are still shifting. Lack of evidence is interpreted as depth rather than deficiency. A closed system of validation. Everyone benefits from maintaining the illusion. The coaching provider gains repeat business. The manager gains reputation as a progressive leader. HR reports increased engagement. The accrediting bodies gain more proof to market their credentials. No one is incentivized to ask the uncomfortable question, did it actually work? The result is a closed system where coaching is always successful because there is no structure in place to prove otherwise. The return on investment illusion. The ICF's $577,000 return on investment claim, like most in the industry, converts non-financial outcomes into financial value. Terms such as improved collaboration or better decision-making are assigned estimated dollar equivalents, creating a pseudo-financial narrative that looks analytical but has no basis in accounting. The usual process is simple. Gather post-program surveys. Record self-reported improvements. Assign a hypothetical financial value to each improvement. Publish the total as return on investment. It is a closed loop where the same organization defines, measures, and reports its own success. There is no universal standard for translating soft skills into hard currency, yet those figures are presented as if they were audited results. The coaching industry has redefined ROI as return on impression. The timeline trick. The AEON Vietnam case is built on two claims. The coaching program began in 2020, and by 2023 employees had delivered 86 successful projects worth $577,000 in returns. The connection between those two statements is asserted, not proven. There is a 3-year gap with no evidence of causation. To demonstrate a real link, the International Coaching Federation would need to show consistent year-on-year data, document which coached employees led those projects, and verify the financial results independently. None of that exists. The argument relies entirely on chronology. Because the coaching came first, it must have caused the results that followed. It is post hoc reasoning, dressed up as evidence. Between 2020 and 2023, AEON Vietnam could have changed leadership, markets, technology, or strategy. Any of these could explain the results, yet the coaching is given credit. The gap becomes part of the story. The industry justifies the delay by claiming that transformation takes time, which conveniently allows any later success to be retroactively attributed to coaching. Time itself becomes the evidence. The emotional economy of coaching. If coaching cannot prove measurable results, why do companies keep buying it? Because it delivers something more immediately gratifying, the feeling of improvement. The industry trades in emotional return on investment. Participants describe increased clarity or confidence. Managers describe alignment and engagement. HR departments report growth and empowerment. None of this is measurable, but it satisfies the collective desire to believe in progress. The experience of being coached provides a temporary boost in morale that feels like transformation. This emotional lift is mistaken for evidence of long-term change. Once it fades, another program or coach is engaged to recreate it. The business model depends on this cycle. Coaching has become an emotional subscription service that sells meaning rather than measurable development. The business of belief. The International Coaching Federation's AEON Vietnam story is not proof of coaching's effectiveness. It is proof of how effectively coaching can market belief as fact. The industry has built a system that thrives on circular validation. The accrediting bodies publish success stories based on self-reporting. The coaching companies turn those stories into marketing proof. The clients use the same material to demonstrate enlightened leadership. Everyone wins except the truth. If coaching culture genuinely produced quantifiable results, it would not resist independent evaluation. It would welcome it. Yet across the industry, transparency is avoided and accountability reframed as negativity. The coaching industry's greatest innovation is not transformation or empowerment. It is the ability to sell certainty without evidence, using feelings as data and time as proof. Until that cycle is broken, the claimed return on investment of coaching will remain a story told by those with the most to gain from believing it.